Hello everyone, this is Andrew from Crown Academy of English. Today's English lesson is about the word why. So why is a question word. So let's look at three examples of sentences. So this is the affirmative. You are shouting. You are shouting. So this is a statement. A positive statement. We can transform this into a question, a normal question. We can say, are you shouting? Are you shouting? So this is a question. And then we can also create a why question. So we create a why question by putting the word why before the question form. So we have the question form, and then we put the word why before it. Why are you shouting? Why are you shouting? So what does this mean? What is the meaning of this why question? Well, we use why to ask the reason of something or for an explanation. So here we are asking for the reason for the person shouting. Okay? We're asking for an explanation. More examples. So the affirmative would be the sky is blue. We're stating a fact. The sky is blue. If we ask the question, a normal question, we say, is the sky blue? So we change the order here. Is the sky blue? And the why question, why is the sky blue? Why is the sky blue? So we take the question form, is the sky blue? And we add the word why before it. Why is the sky blue? So here we are asking for the explanation, for the reason. So we're asking for probably the scientific reason. The affirmative form, he gave me some money. So here we have the past simple tense. He gave me some money. The question would be, did he give me some money? So this is the question form of the past simple. Did he give me some money? And the why question, we add the word why before the question form. Why did he give me some money? Why did he give me some money? So what is the reason? What is the explanation? Why? Okay? Now, we can also use the word why in indirect questions. So we use why in indirect speech. And we can also call this reported speech. To report the asking of a question. So here is the context for the example. So Mark is late for work and his manager is not pleased. So here is the manager and he is not pleased. So let's look at an example with direct speech. So with direct speech, the manager says, why are you late? So this is the present tense. Why are you late? And Mark replies, I missed the bus. Okay, so this is direct speech. So now let's look at this situation with indirect speech. So later, Mark is telling the story to Jane. Okay, so later in the evening, Mark is telling this story, and he's telling Jane about it. So Mark is going to use indirect speech now. So indirect speech, Mark says, the manager asked me why I was late. The manager asked me why I was late. Okay, so Mark is reporting what happened earlier in the day. So this is indirect speech. Notice this is not a question. It's not a question. There's no question mark here. This is an affirmative, but he's reporting a question that happened earlier in the day. So we have why I was late. This is the affirmative form. I was late. Okay? So this is indirect speech, an indirect question. Notice here it is with the direct speech. This is the present tense. Why are you late? This is the present. But when we transform it into indirect speech, the present tense becomes the past tense. The manager asked me why I was late. Why I was late. This is the past simple form of the verb be. Okay, but that's a separate lesson. That's another more advanced subject. Let's look at another example. The context, Jane is in a meeting with her manager. So this is Jane, and she's in a meeting with her manager. Direct speech. The manager asks, why haven't you finished the report? Why haven't you finished the report? Okay, so this is a question, and it is in the present perfect. Okay, haven't you finished the report? It's a negative, in fact. Negative form of the present perfect question. Okay, so later Jane is telling the story to Mark. She's telling this story to Mark using indirect speech. So Jane says, I had a meeting with my manager today. And Mark asks, well, what did he say? Jane replies, he asked why I hadn't finished the report. He asked why I hadn't finished the report. So this is an indirect question. Okay, so it's an indirect speech. She's reporting a question that was asked earlier in the day. But this sentence is actually in the affirmative. I hadn't finished the report. There's no question mark here. It's not a question. This is a statement reporting a question. And notice here we started in the present, in the actual situation, it was in the present perfect. And now when we report it in the past, it becomes the past perfect. He asked why I hadn't finished the report. This is the past perfect negative. Okay, but the important thing to remember for this lesson is that we can also use why in an affirmative sentence, but it is in indirect speech. We're reporting a question. Why as a response. So we can say why on its own as a response to ask the reason for something. So we can just give a short reply with the word why and nothing else. So Mark says, I want to live in London. And Jane replies simply, why? Okay, so this is just a short reply. This is quicker than saying, why do you want to live in London? Okay, so instead of saying, why do you want to live in London? Jane simply says, why? Okay. Another example. Claire says, I hate my job, I'm going to quit. And the manager replies, why? So here Jane is asking for the reason, and the manager here is asking for the reason. Okay, asking for an explanation. So this is short for why are you going to quit? Why are you going to quit? But instead of saying why are you going to quit, we can simply ask why. Okay. We say why not as a response to a negative statement. So if someone says something in the negative and we want an explanation, then we say why not. Mark says, I don't want to live in London. I don't want to live in London. So notice this is a negative statement. I don't. And Jane wants to know the reason. So she says, why not? Why not? Okay, so she's asking for the reason. And since this is a negative statement, Jane must say, why not? If she just says why here, that's a bit strange. It's not correct. Okay, so if you want to reply to a negative statement and ask for the reason, you must say why not. David asks, do you want a glass of wine? And Claire replies, no thanks, I don't drink alcohol. I don't drink alcohol. So here is the negative statement. I don't drink alcohol. And David wants to know why. So he says, why not? So David is asking for the reason. The reason that Claire does not drink alcohol. Okay? So why not to reply to a negative statement? Why on earth? This is a very good expression to learn. We can replace why with why on earth to ask a question. And why on earth, it shows surprise and shock at something. So we're asking for the reason, but we're also very surprised and very shocked, almost angry. Okay? And when we say it, when we talk, when we say this, we really stress the word earth. We say, why on earth? Okay, so when we say it, we really emphasize this word. Why on earth did you move to London? It's so expensive. So listen again when I say the word earth. Why on earth did you move to London? It's so expensive. Okay, so I'm really surprised that someone is moving to London. I'm shocked, I'm surprised. So I say, why on earth? And the manager again, very angry that someone is late. Why on earth are you late? Why on earth are you late again? Okay, so the manager is surprised and shocked and probably angry, and he wants to know the reason for the person being late. Okay, why on earth? That's why. We use that's why to give a reason for something. David says, Claire has 2 jobs. And Sarah replies, that's why she's always tired. That's why she's always tired. Okay, so that's why is giving the reason for this. Okay, so the reason that Claire is always tired is this. Okay, another example. Mark says, John's car has been stolen. And Jane replies, that's why he has started cycling to the office. That's why he has started cycling to the office. Okay, so we're giving a reason for this. Okay. Here is an interesting structure. Why followed by the negative question form of the present simple. And we use this structure to make a suggestion. Okay, so we're not asking a question, or we're not asking for the reason, but we're making a suggestion. So here is an example. Why don't you come to the cinema with us tonight? Why don't you come to the cinema with us tonight? So it's a question, but we're not asking for an explanation. We are not asking for a reason for something. No, we are making a suggestion. We are giving an invitation, in fact. Why don't you come to the cinema with us tonight? Okay, so this part in blue, this is the negative question form of the present simple. Don't you come? Okay. And again, we are not asking for an explanation. We are making a suggestion. Another example, Sarah says, I'm going to London tomorrow. Claire says, me too. Why don't we travel together? Why don't we travel together? So here we have the first person plural form. Why don't we travel together? So why don't we travel together? This is a suggestion. Okay. Jane says, I'm exhausted. This means very tired. And Mark replies, well, why don't I cook dinner tonight? Why don't I cook dinner tonight? So Mark is suggesting that he cooks dinner tonight. Okay? So he's not asking for a reason, he's not asking for an explanation. This is making a suggestion. Okay? Why not? We can also use this to agree or to accept an invitation. So we can say why not as a reply to a suggestion or invitation. It means that we agree with the suggestion. It means that we accept the invitation. So we are not asking for an explanation or reason. Example. Mark and Jane, they are in a bar having a drink. And Mark says, would you like to go for a meal? And Jane replies, why not? Good idea. Okay, so Jane here is in fact saying, yes, good idea. She's accepting the invitation. Okay, so Jane is not asking for an explanation or a reason. She's simply saying yes. Okay, so don't be surprised if you're in England or you're speaking in English with someone, and if you invite them somewhere, or if you make a suggestion to go somewhere, and if they reply why not, they're not asking you a question, they are saying yes. Okay. Another example, Claire asks, how about we go for coffee? And Sarah replies, why not? Let's go. So Claire is inviting Sarah for coffee. How about is an informal way of giving an invitation or making a suggestion to do something. So how about we go for a coffee? And Sarah here is saying yes. Okay, Sarah is accepting the invitation. Let's go. Okay. So that's the end of the lesson. If you are preparing for the IELTS, then click here for the information and prices regarding the Crown Academy IELTS online course. And here are some other videos which I recommend.